Board of Police Commissioners meeting. Today's Thursday, August 28th. We don't have a quorum, we do? Okay. We just are getting a quorum. Okay, I'm going to ask for Chaplain Dan Hunt to do the invocation. Is he on Zoom?
Madam Chair, he has not signed on in Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Could C.I. Warfield do the invocation?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Let us all bow our heads in prayer. Dear merciful and heavenly Father, we come this afternoon to thank you for life, for liberty, and for health and for strength. We thank you for the ability to be in this community meeting as we discuss issues that impact your people from a law enforcement standpoint. We ask, Lord, that you would guide over and watch and guide the conversation of this meeting. Bless all those who are here. Bless our officers, bless our commissioners, our staffs, and we ask, Lord, that you would get the glory in this meeting. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Next, can we have the introduction of the commissioners? The roll call, please, Secretary.
Madam Chair, Commissioner DeWalsh,
Present.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Attorney Linda Bernard, present. District 2.
Commissioner Banks,
Present, District 3.
Commissioner Bell,
Present, District 4.
Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Moore is excused. You have 6 present, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now could I get an approval of the August 28th, 25 agenda?
So move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Woods and supported by Commissioner Brown. I'm sorry. Jones. I'm sorry. And I know him very well for many years. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Oh, it's your hand on the mic is popping.
Thank you. And now I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes of August 21st, 2025.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Woods, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Could we have the introduction of the BOPC staff, chief, and elected officials and representatives?
Madam Chair, through the chair, Chief Investigator Warfield, Drew Freeze, Mary Barber, Teresa Blossom, Candace Hayes, Armesia Joshua, Dior Mathis, OCI Supervising Investigator Tiffany Stewart, Assistant Chief Franklin Hayes. Interpreter today is Ms. Yakata. Dr. Beebe. Don Handyside, Court Reporter, and Charles Henry, Media Services. Elected officials or representatives recorded at this time are Marie Overall for State Representative Tyrone Carter, Freesia Butler, President of 2nd Precinct Community Relations, LaDon Davis via Zoom of Office of Councilmember Fred Durhall, and former Detroit Police Commissioner William Davis are those we have recorded at this time.
Thank you, Secretary. Under BOPC's report, we have a resolution, and I've asked Commissioner Jones if he would please read it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a resolution honoring Corporal Rhonda Morris posthumously. Whereas Rhonda Morris believed that success came from standing together, shoulder to shoulder, ready for whatever comes next, with such faith and purpose, it is not surprising that she chose a career devoted to public service. She became a student police officer on June 24, 1996, after her acceptance to the Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy. I'm sorry. After her acceptance to the Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy on November 27, 1966, Officer Morris was appointed to the Detroit Police Department. Thank you. And assigned to patrol operations in the 6th Precinct. And whereas Officer Morris proudly served the 6th Precinct for 20 years and built a special and deep relationship standing together with the community, although her official assignments included the Northwestern District from September 14, 2005 to September 21, 2009, she patrolled the same neighborhoods and continued working with the thousands who knew her as effective, courteous, and professional in every encounter. And whereas when the department dissolved districts, her official assignment again became the 6th Precinct, and she served there for 7 more years before being assigned on October the 3rd, 2016 to firearms training. Officer Morris continued to excel in her duties and earned promotion to corporal on March 14, 2019. Corporal Morris continued her assignment in firearms training until she died, active on August the 18th, 2025. And whereas Corporal Morris was the deserving recipient of numerous honors and letters of commendation from supervisors and area residents, her awards included the Rosa Parks Funeral Recognition Award, the NFL Super Bowl 40 Recognition Award, the Major League Baseball All-Star Recognition Award, the 2014 Ford Fireworks Award, and both Consent Judgment Awards. And whereas Corporal Morris tirelessly served the city of Detroit, the police department, and residents for 29 years with loyalty, professionalism, integrity, and dedication. She was widely respected throughout law enforcement and the Detroit community as a consummate professional. The Board of Police Commissioners joins with all Detroiters in offering condolences to the family and friends of Corporal Morris. Her selfless public service will be remembered at services on Thursday, August the 28th, 2025, and long after by an eternally grateful city. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners awards this resolution posthumously in honor of Corporal Rhonda Morris for her dedicated and distinguished 29 years of service to the people of Detroit and the police department. Detroit always will remember and cherish Corporal Morris' legacy of steadfast courage and unwavering public service in law enforcement and public safety. Madam Chairman, I so move that we accept this resolution honoring Corporal Rhonda Morris posthumously.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Jones and seconded by Commissioner Bernard. Is there any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. At this time, I want to... We did have a Commissioner Brown's. We did, I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
When, just recently?
No,
Oh, years and years ago.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
since
I
I've been on,
apologize.
I ain't
Commissioner
never known
Jones.
Commissioner Brown.
Commissioner Jones. He's going to be really upset with me. Okay. At this time, I want to recognize that Commissioner Burton is present. And also, we'd like to have the chief give his report. Assistant Chief Hayes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of Chief Bettison, who could not be here today, but certainly sends his regards as he is at the funeral services for the late Corporal Rhonda Morris, who was just acknowledged through resolution. The department and certainly her family is grateful for the acknowledgement of her career and service to the citizens of the city of Detroit, and he will be there and is currently there as they're laying her to rest. To share with what's going on here in the community and the work that we're doing through oversight of the board, we are continually fighting crime, and the trend has continued that the numbers are reducing. Our most violent categories of homicide, just to give an example, year to date, well, last year we had year to date 138. This year we are at 122 for a 12% reduction, which is 16 less incidents. Our non-fatal shootings, last year we had 426 year to date. This year we at 320. That number combined of the 16 less homicides and the 106 less non-fatal shootings, that is 122 less victims of gun violence in our community. Continuing with robberies, we're down 13%, 728 last year, 636 this year, 92 less victims. And carjackings, 74 this time last year, 54 this year, reflective of a 27% reduction or 20 less incidents. So we are continuing to fight crime. The stigma about our great city, which is untrue, that we can confidently say between work of the community, this board, certainly the police department, the collective, that we are driving crime down here in the city. A few significant events we'd just like to update the board and the community on. As recent as yesterday, at approximately 6 p.m., officers responded to a 15-year-old shot in the park at in the 19,000 block of Shaner. The circumstances were that the victim and another juvenile female came to the park to fight. Someone brought a gun and shots were fired. 2 individuals were detained for questioning, but a third person believed to be responsible for this has been identified, and we are actively pursuing this individual to get them into custody. On Tuesday the 25th, officers responded to the 10th precinct for a reported kidnapping. We were able to find out that the victim was taken, kidnapped, and taken to a different location on Appeline. The officers made that location, removed all occupants, including the victim, who was a juvenile. The preliminary circumstances were that the victim and the suspects had been involved in a dispute, and then they took the victim and assaulted her. The victim is recovering from non-life-threatening injuries, and through the several arrests that were made, an investigator's report will be submitted to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and this is just an example of the work that the men and women of the Detroit Police Department continuing to do.
If I may, Madam Chair, did we dispatch the Emerald Alert on that?
Because this was active, no, and we had, through the chair, we did not, because this was in fresh pursuit, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And because it happened instantaneously, once we got there, we immediately knew, had credible information. Where
So it
she
wasn't
was.
a need?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Microphone, just move it a little closer. if you don't mind. Thank you.
Sorry. Try this here. On Friday, is that better?
Better.
Okay.
Everybody.
On Friday, an incident that made national news at Henry Ford Hospital, where an individual got a firearm into the location and fatally shot victim identified as his ex-wife. Through the work, again, of the police department and our partners, we did not do this alone, and certainly tips from the community. That evening, well, early the next morning, we were able to get a location. Members of our special response team made the location through a search warrant, and were able to get that individual into custody, as well as the individual that was harboring and assisting in him finding the location. So,
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Chief, if you could adjust your mic,
They're still
our
saying-
Zoom audience cannot hear you.
how about now? Okay. Test 1, 2, 3. I can stand at the podium if that would be more beneficial.
She said no.
You probably could try that. Just switch that mic over for him.
Test 1, 2, 3.
It's the system. You could try the podium. So for the sake of time, through the chair.
Mm-hmm.
The light's not even on this. Test 2, 1. Oh, well, it does work. Test 1, 2, 3.
Yes, perfect.
All right. Again, through the hard work of the men and women of the Detroit Police Department, our community, local, federal, and state partners, we were able to get this individual into custody through this combined effort. Narcotics, certainly we are looking at youth violence, but Substance abuse is something that still plagues not only the city of Detroit, but this nation, and we have a unit dedicated to it addressing that crime and combating the sale of illegal narcotics. And this past week, a search warrant was executed in the 15,000 block of Maple Ridge, and this location was near Detroit Elementary School. Upon execution of the search warrant, the officers made a felony arrest, 3 misdemeanors arrests, and confiscated 8 firearms and various amounts of cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, pills, and cash. So we have hopefully disrupted those that were peddling narcotics in that area, and this is proof positive that we will relentlessly pursue you, and those that are in that profession should think about doing something else for a living. When we talk about our youth and giving them support, opportunity, and resources, as the Detroit school area is getting ready to go back to school, our students, August 20th, our 4th precinct had a back-to-school supply giveaway. And on Monday the 25th, the 12th precinct, along with a community Jeep group, visited Detroit Greenfield Union to pass out backpack and supplies to students for their first day back of school. And there was also a community initiative that I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge, and that was the clap-in, where several members of the community and the police department, and I believe there was a member of BOPC there as well, at Davis Aerospace, supporting Michelle Davis, the principal, and the students returning back to that school. So this community has certainly wrapped their arms around the youth, the police department, as well as we understand some of the issues. Handcuffs aren't the answer, but we continue with this. And again, this is our effort that we will relentlessly continue to give our youth an opportunity. Our Peacenik is this Saturday, August 28th, from 2 to 7 p.m., where the Detroit Police Department and the residents are hosting this event at Skinner Park, located at 12265 Ryad Street. There will be games, contests, food, career, and educational opportunities, and we invite the entire community to join us there. Upcoming Saturday, September 6th, at Belle Isle from 3 to 8. The Detroit Police Department will also be hosting the 8th Annual Showdown in Motown Bike and Car Show. On our social media page, we can talk about it details the cost and the entry into this event, and the proceeds will benefit the Office of Workplace and Community Resiliency and the Community Engagement Programs. And we thought events like this are important, as we are part of this community, and when we take these uniforms off, with certainly the fabric, we enjoy the same things that our residents want, and we want to take down that blue wall, the blue curtain, and be able to enjoy cars, and in this case cars, but enjoy with the community, and again, our passion. So we hope that the community certainly comes out to Belle Isle on the 6th for that. One last thing, an event that also made news, where this Monday, 3 juvenile girls who were reported missing from the 5,000 block of Outer Drive when they left the location without permission and didn't return home. Although it was a runaway, they're still our youth, and we cannot turn our backs on that. Investigators worked to locate the girls, and on Tuesday, they were recovered safely and reunited with their families. We speak to our officers, this past weekend there was an incident where officers were struck by another vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed at Gratiot and Lappin. Both officers are at home recovering. One had injuries, neck, back, and a facial laceration. He is at home. He went home. However, he had to return due to breathing complications. In addition to the injuries that I just mentioned, he had a left rib fracture. The other is sustaining 3 broken ribs, a dislocated collarbone, and a collapsed lung and head trauma. He's still at the hospital, but again, they are recovering. Serious injuries, violent injuries, but they are on the road to recovery. So we certainly ask for your support. Those that may be religious, we ask for your prayers as they are on the road to recovery from out here doing what we ask them to do and serve this community faithfully. Madam Chair, that concludes my presentation on behalf of Chief Beddison, and I will gladly answer any questions that I can.
Thank you, Assistant Chief. Are there any questions or comments? Commissioner Banks?
Thank you. Assistant Chief, I just Sorry, through the chair.
Yes.
Assistant Chief, I just want to say we thank the Lord for DPD with boots on the ground, because crime stats, I was listening to you, crime stats are going down in some major categories. So just shout out to DPD for the tough work that they're doing.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Bringing crime statistics down in this city.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any others? Comments or questions? Commissioner Burton?
I have a few questions. First question is, there is a youth football team. I guess their season was suspended for the season. I'd like to get an update on that. I believe the team was the Eastside Coach.
Through the chair, the decision for PAL was made by the PAL Board of Directors. So I can certainly share with you the director of PAL information, and they can go into that incident and how they arrived at that decision.
And another concern is from the community, want to know more about whether or not the Detroit Police Department is assisting ICE or working on any joint task force that may be assisting ICE. Can you give us an update on that as well?
Thank you. Through the chair, we are not.
And I'll have more questions later.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let the record show that Commissioner Smith is present. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Assistant Chief Hayes.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Just a comment, real quickly, to you. You can sit down. I just want to tell you and my colleagues as well, and to tell you, congratulations. You were recently married within the last 30 days. And so this is a big
congratulations.
deal for him and for us as well. Congratulations, and God bless you both.
Congratulations.
And I'll tell you what I told your colleague when
What
he
was
got
you?
married. My grandmama taught me, she said, don't ever let anything come between two heads on one pillow. Nothing should come between the two of you. Two heads on one pillow, nothing comes between that.
Thank you for your grandmother's insight.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner
Congratulations,
Bernard.
Assistant Chief.
At this time, we'll go to oral communications, and just remember, we have a 2-minute limit, and inappropriate language and comments may delay the broadcast. So, could we have our first speaker, please?
Our first speaker in the room is Minister Eric Blount.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm Minister Eric Blount from Sacred Heart Catholic Church right here in Detroit. The games and the tricks that are played on this board rival the executive branch of the federal government. I'll just run through some very quick examples. One, the diversion to crime and crime statistics has nothing to do with police officer misconduct, but this is why we are here. Resolutions honoring employees that are not employees of this board is another diversion that takes away resources and precious time from police officer misconduct. And then last week to this week, Chairperson Woods, I tried to help you, but you wouldn't take it. I told you I was here last week, right?
Yes.
You knew I was here. We had a lengthy discussion, didn't we? Yes. But somehow, and it's not an accident, it's not an oversight, somehow my name is missing from the minutes. Chairperson DeWalsh, you weren't here last week, but the minutes say that you adjourned the meeting last week. What? And then there is no record of the transcripts from last week. Wonder why? A.C. Hayes, you may not have been here last week, but I was. Forget whatever else you hear, all right? Chief Bedison and I had a lengthy discussion about the rape of a 12-year-old boy in prison, in jail, Wayne County Jail, Not saying it was DPD, but I do believe it could happen very easily under DPD as well. Chief Bedison disagreed. He even offered tours of the jail facilities that DPD is in charge of. Haven't heard a word. I gave him my name, my email address, my phone number, not a word. So you just pile it all on. Some people want to say I wasn't here. And now the records show I wasn't here, right? Everybody approved the minutes. Chairperson Wood even made the motion to approve the minutes, and he was here and he knew I was here. This is no accident. This is no mistake. It happens too often.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Chief.
if I may, Minister Blunt, one of my responsibilities within the Detroit Police Department is our new DDC facility. I will be reaching out to you next week for the tour that you discussed with Chief Bedison.
I've known you since you were a young boy. Call an old black person a boy.
That's right.
All right? I've known you since you were a young man.
Yes, sir.
You know how to contact me.
And I will.
If you need any more information from me.
I know how to get a hold of you, sir.
Thank you, Assistant Chief.
Any other-
Commissioner Woods.
Yeah, through the chair, can we have the secretary address as it relates to the minutes? I want to make sure that, and I deeply apologize if you were omitted anything of that nature and stuff. So, is there a clerical error there? Through the chair.
As far as the adjournment of the meeting, we were checking just now. Vice Chair Woods adjourned the meeting at 4:28 p.m. I will go back and do a thorough
I see that right there.
Right, I'll do a more thorough review, as far as the public comments,
Maybe.
and make the necessary, get it right, corrections,
Correction.
sir.
Yeah, because I see the minutes that I have right here. It says Vice Chair Woods adjourned the meeting. And so just wanted that for the public, as far as what's before us, that the minutes are in order as relates to that. And that's it. Okay.
We'll correct the other part of that. Thank you. Our next speaker, please.
Ms. Sharnita Williams.
Hello, through the chair, Madam President. You were not here last week, and by you being the chair, this is a major concern about the ex-offenders on the Detroit Police Department. We have killers, rapists, all type of mental illness people, drug addiction. It's important that the citizens of Detroit are fully aware that there's ex-offenders on the Detroit Police Department. So therefore, you all should contact her. It's your job, because Internal Affairs is not doing theirs, and apparently you all have rules and regulations. Contact the FBI. Everybody on the Detroit Police Department needs to have their fingerprints redone. And we talked about the Constitution. The Constitutional definitely don't speak about ex-offenders. Yes, second chances, but not being no law enforcement agency, period. This is not acceptable. How could this possibly happen on the Detroit Police Department? Period. I see them every day. They are in the system. They faces and fingerprints. We only have one fingerprint. So how did this happen? You all might need to go back 10 to 15 years, because they done moved up in ranks. I'm quite sure of this. And then last week, this woman who was on the force for 28 years, absolutely. She was at 12900 where I was at on Iris Street, where Aisha Muhammad was in prison for killing. She was right there. And I'm like, okay, she was under Chief White. I've been complaining about officers staying in shelters, but at that point, I was not aware that we had killers, rapists, all type of dysfunctional, sick, sadistic people on the Detroit Police Department. So it's your duty to contact the FBI. Thank you very much, through the chair.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
It's Ms. Bernice.
Good afternoon to my commissioners.
Good afternoon.
You know, sometimes we come here, we just don't know what to tell you guys. You know that? It's sad. It's really sad. But the fact is, I love all of you. What you're doing is a damn good job. Excuse me for cursing. I'm sorry. But one thing I want to let you know what I did this week. And you may say, I shouldn't have did, I shouldn't. But anyway, most of you know I'm from Chicago. When I heard on the news about your president talking about he's going to send the troops to Chicago, immediately I got upset about it, and I called my friends, and especially I called the mayor. Y'all don't know I have his number. Anyway, I talked to his secretary because he wasn't in the office, and I said, and I didn't say ain't, but there's no way in the world that the president have any reason to send troops to Chicago. He might try and do it to Detroit, but I'm darned if we're going to let it happen. But the fact is, I don't know what's the matter with him. He's sick. He's always talking about Chicago or the cities that have Democratic parties that's in charge. Now, he came here a couple of years ago and he talked about us. He was at the Rooster Tail. I was there. I was a guest. Carolyn Kilpatrick was the congresswoman there. He wanted to build a hotel here. He was going to do this for Detroit. And then when I asked the question, are you going to hire any minority contractors to build the hotel? What he said was, next question. He ignored me totally, so I know what he is, and I don't even want to talk about it. But I just want to let you know, we're not going to let any troops or anybody else come into our city. And the mayor said the same thing later on that evening on his news. I saw it on the newscast. So, getting to our city. Hayes, the police department, the city of Detroit, I love you guys, and you're doing a hell of a good job for the simple reason you're out there risking your lives for me and everybody sitting here. And we should appreciate it. I do. I don't know about the rest of the people, but I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you,
And the
ma'am.
I'm
Thank
through?
you. Yep. Time's
Doggone
up.
it.
Thank
Well,
you
anyway,
so
I want
much.
to let you know I'm selling this book tomorrow at the fair. Granny's Booty Calls. Y'all better come
Thank
and get it.
you. Next speaker, please.
In the room, we have Victoria Camille.
Good afternoon, board.
Good
committee
afternoon.
members. My name is Victoria Camille, District 7. Couple things I'd like to ask the board to follow up on along with DPD. So DPD has control back of the Detroit Detention Center. And if it's not already publicly available, and perhaps we need to make it more visible, is what family members do if they have a family member being held at DDC and they come to find out that their family member is having some type of medical issue, they need their medications, they don't have access to them, something to make sure that while the individuals are being held there, receive the appropriate medical care and sustenance that they need while they're being held there. So if that's information that can be provided to the public, that will be helpful. The other thing I would like to bring up is that DPD was able to apprehend the individuals who shot Riley Love, which we've all been very concerned about, the tragic killing of that baby. But my question is, what are we going to do next? Because to my understanding, allegedly, that whole situation started with someone getting their a chain snatched from them by somebody, which that is also a crime, to snatch someone's jewelry from them. And so what are we going to do to go back and deal with that situation? And I'm not asking DPD to do this. I'm asking us as a community. I'm asking our leadership here in the city, our future mayor, our future city council, to deal with the social conditions that would lead to someone stealing someone's jewelry, that would lead to someone being harmed in the community, like having been robbed, to then think that their best solution is to shoot into a crowd of people instead of working with a community mediator or calling the police to deal with that situation. So definitely DPD has done their job. They're responsible for apprehending individuals that do wrong in the community, but we have a lot of work to do to deal with the root cause of what is happening, resulting in these situations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
We're moving on to Zoom. We have Tower Brown. Ms. There you go.
Good evening, Commission. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I guess my comment this evening would be for Conrad Mallett, Commissioner Bernard, and the Detroit Police Department. On September 8th at about 2 p.m., the Detroit Continuum of Care will be holding their monthly meeting at Northwest Activity Center. And part of that meeting will include one of the board members who is a registered sex offender and a serial child rapist. And although I have raised issue with these in-person meetings at community centers where children are, they continue to happen. I don't know who is approving this at the city level, but again, it's happening, and somebody needs to raise issue with this. Again, bringing a serial child rapist, and I don't know if any of you all are familiar with Northwest Activity Center. It's one of the biggest community centers in Detroit, and it is full of children. And the last time we had one there in March, as we were leaving, there were children everywhere. And there just so happened to be a reporter that was there that followed this child rapist into the bathroom because there were children in the bathroom. And I think a lot of times people assume that this person is non-threatening because they're in a wheelchair and because they are white. That person can walk and he is a threat to children everywhere. And I just don't think that we should be bringing him to a community center. And to hear that there are children getting raped while incarcerated and children who are being sexually assaulted in other spaces, yeah, this is a problem. And I just don't think that the city should be allowing, or the Detroit police for that matter, a serial sex offender and child rapist to be coming into community centers full of children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairperson, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Bernard.
Northwest Activity Center is obviously in my district. It's actually walking distance from my house. That she raises a very interesting point, Chief, and I'd like you to respond. I guess we could put up signs that say if you are a registered sex offender, you cannot come in, but that would also affect voting. I mean, I don't know. Can you tell me what other cities are doing in regard to in regard to this question?
Through the chair.
Excuse me, I'm not sure. Is his mic working? Can anybody tell me? Okay.
Through the chair, that is a unique set of circumstances, and the first person that was identified.
Gotta go back to the lectern. That's just not a good mic. I don't know why they do this. Thank you.
Through the chair, that is a unique set of circumstances that I am not qualified to speak on as we talk about public spaces and constitutionality. But a caller did reference Corporation Counsel Mallett, so I am going to defer to him, make sure he's aware of this inquiry, and certainly be guided by him, as two things can be true at once. While we are mindful of the constitutionality of others, we need to protect our children. So based on the plan that's devised by Corporation Counsel or his direction, we will respond accordingly to make sure our children are safe in these spaces.
Thank you.
I'll follow up as well. That's an important issue, but the Northwest Activity Center is full of children all day, all night. There's no question about that. But a registered sex offender is just that, a registered sex offender. I'm trying to think what are the rules that govern his behavior or her behavior. I have to look it up, but we have to talk about it because she raises an excellent point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another comment by Commissioner Banks?
Yes. I just want to make sure I heard the young lady correctly. Did she say a registered sex offender is on this board?
No, in the bathroom at Northwest Activity Center. Person that was at Northwest Activity Center, and that she had a problem because she found out that he went to the bathroom and there were other kids in there and stuff like that. That's what she said. No registered.
Now, where's the sex offender at, though?
At Northwest Activity Center. Are you?
Oh, at North.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Too many people talking right now. Hold on one second. What I understood,
well, I had the
yeah,
floor, though.
Commissioner, yeah, what I understood.
I'm through. Go ahead.
No, no,
Go ahead.
but what I understood was that somebody attended a conference or a panel
Right.
discussion that was in a wheelchair.
Got it.
Am
I got
correct?
it now.
Okay,
I
that was
got
a
it,
sex
got it.
offender.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm all set.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. Next speaker.
This is our last speaker, William Surface Go.
Good afternoon. Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
I would also like to say that we're still having problems hearing some of the speakers speak. There's something wrong with your audio system for some of the people to speak for some of the mics. Also, I think a greater effort needs to be made for the Board of Police Commissioners. Probably should be getting a regular report on people wrongful arrest. You know, I think that as a City of Detroit retiree, I'm president of the City of Detroit retiree group. You know, the City of Detroit pays a whole lot out in lawsuits. I think there should be a greater effort to reduce the amount of lawsuits. I think that, not saying that this board could do everything, but I think they could help to coordinate and see what they could do about reducing the number of lawsuits and reducing the number of wrongful arrests. I still hear reports about young black men being stopped and handcuffed and shaken down and, searched without probable cause, being stopped for traffic stops and put in handcuffs. You know, stuff like this is not right, especially if somebody's being stopped, especially black and brown young people, just because of their color. Sometimes it seems like some people think that just because they a young black person, they got a gun on them. So I hope there's more training being done on some of the officers out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other speakers, please?
That ends.
That was the final one. Thank you. At this time, we have two presentations to the board. The first one is the DPD budget report for April through June 2025. It'll be given by Mr. Nazarko. Thank you, Mr. Nazarko.
Madam Chair, Honorable Board, good afternoon, and I'm happy to present to you the last quarter of the fiscal year, the one that ends on June 30, 2025. The kind of like high overview financial picture for the City of Detroit Police Department. Next slide, please. The reports that I'm going to show this afternoon are the last quarter year-to-date budget versus actual expenditures, the general fund last quarter, again quarter 4 year-to-date budget versus actual revenues and expenses, vehicle purchase report, capital expenditure report, and grant activity report, the last one. Next, please. As you can see on this slide, on the top line is the general fund revenue. We had budgeted to receive $92.7 million for the entire year, a revenue earmarked for the police department, because obviously the overall revenue for the City of Detroit is much larger than that. And we received only $88 million, 88.3 to be exact. And the deficit on the revenue side for the general fund was $4.4 million. And I'll show you in a minute which items comprise that amount. On the forfeiture fund, we budgeted $2.3 million to receive 2.3, and we received only $834,000 for a deficit of almost $1.5 million. Special revenue fund, and special revenue fund is comprised of two funds. One is the 911 revenue that we receive through Wayne County from state of Michigan, and the other one is the toll fund. Between the two, we were supposed to receive $16.7 approximately million, and we received only $11 million, again, approximate number, 10.917 to be exact. On the expenditure side, general fund was slated to, or budgeted to expend $424.5 million, and we spent $420.6 million for a surplus of $3.8 million. Forfeiture fund, we were budgeted to spend $1.388 million, so almost 1.4, and we spent less than $1 million, $950,000. And on the special revenue funds, again, the 911, the training, and the towing fund, we were budgeted to spend $15.5 million worth of expenses, and we spent only $10.9 million. Next slide, please.
May I ask
Yes.
a question for this slide?
Yes.
Yes. So what would be the reason for the 64% variance in the forfeiture fund revenue, or the reasons?
The major reason is that one cannot ever budget accurately the forfeiture fund revenues. As the DPD knows and as this honorable board knows, that depends on the forfeiture activity. And lately, with the legalization of the marijuana especially, the forfeiture activity has not been able to bring in revenues that we have. When we budget, we look on the history, past 2-3 years, and we budget that way, but the history is not a good indicator as to the future revenues, especially again on the forfeiture front. The other funds should be more close resembling the budget amount.
And then the second question, thank you for that. The second question is, the expenditures for the forfeiture fund of $945,000 is greater than the revenue of $834,000.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is related to the first question, meaning that we did not bring the budgeted revenue, and therefore during the year, we must scale back on the amount of expenditures because we did not bring the amount of revenues in. We supplement the difference because obviously we did not bring the revenues were much less than what we expected, and the expenditures were a little bit closer. But the difference is made up by the accumulated fund balance that we have in that particular fund. That being said, though, the department throughout the year, through the chief's office, we always adjust our expenses as we continue month after month to evaluate, are we bringing enough money to support this activity? And if we don't, then the chief decides as to scale back on the expenses or find a different funding source.
Okay, that was going to be my question. Where do the funds come from? So thank you for answering that. Any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
The variances are pretty great. Can you explain why?
The
Because
variances.
We're not spending what we're allocated, obviously.
This through the chair, this is not a great slide that explains the variance between the revenues and expenditures. I have another slide following after this or the next one. This slide only shows that what did we budget to bring on the revenue side and what did we actually bring in.
Right.
And this is nothing unusual that this first year happened. Year after year, like I said, and you'll see the next slide. The income tax, for example, came different, but utility users tax is the one that caused this variance because utility users, we again budget based on the historical data. However, it depends on how the residents and businesses in Detroit use utilities because DPD gets a portion of that. So the less utilities, mild winter, I guess, less income for the Detroit Police Department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead
Next slide.
to the next slide.
Thank you. And as I mentioned earlier, the income tax, for example, we're almost on the money. We budgeted $36.2 million. We brought in $36.4 million. I'm sorry, the other way around. The actual was 36.2. The budget was 36.4. So $200,000 shortage, which is basically a perfect budget. Utility users tax, on the other hand, we brought in $41.4 million and we budgeted $43.1 million. And other revenue, we budgeted $10,600,000 and we brought, or actually we brought in 10.6. I have that, the opposite. And the budget was $13.2 million. So the total amount, actual amount was 88.3, that matches the previous slide, and the budget amount was $92.7 million. I'd like just one quick clarification that this is not a final piece. we are still, as information becomes available, accruing revenues that belonged back in June as we speak, because sometimes those come in late and the allocations come in late, and especially this is very true when we talk about the E911 money that the state of Michigan sends to Wayne County and Wayne County sends to us. There is a time lag, especially on those revenues, that we receive them later than what when we expect. At the bottom of the slide, as you see, salaries and wages for the police department, that includes overtime as well. We budgeted $324.8 million, or the actual was that much, and we budgeted $314 million. So we were 3% on the good side on that. Employee benefits, we spent $76 million, budgeted 83.2. Professional, contractual, and all the way down the line. But the bottom line is that the total expenditures that the department budgeted for the year was $424.4 million, and we spent only $420.6 million. 99.1% of the budget was spent. Next slide.
Any question? Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Banks.
Yes, through the chair. Thank you very much. Mr. Nazarko,
Yes.
the $324 million salary, is that just for the Detroit police officers only?
This is, I'm not, through the chair, I'm not sure if you mean the Detroit police officers, because the department has a large civilian force. So the entire DPD is here, not just police officers. I want to make sure that I understand your question right.
It includes civilians and police officers.
Civilians
he's
that
saying.
work for DPD.
That work
You
for
have
DPD.
1,000 civilian employees and 3,000 police officers.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Does that answer?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
set. I'm
thank
cool.
you.
I'm cool. Thanks.
Commissioner Burton, did you have a question?
I have a few questions. Question number one.
Microphone.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Can anyone hear me now?
I can, but I don't think the microphone works.
All right. Mr. Nazarko, I was wondering, are there anywhere in the budget where there's an increases for MPOs? As I go around the various precincts, I'll talk to MPOs. There's things that they still need in order to continue to do their job. As well as I noticed that over the years, the mounted police unit as well as Harbor Master have not had a significant increase in their budget, or for them to do their jobs as well. And I've been here over a decade, and I'd love to see something for our mounted unit division as well as Harbor Masters, and I'd love to see our MPOs treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve, and those cars that they ride in is just too damn small for our MPOs, and they deserve a set of fleet specifically for them.
Through the chair, the NPOs and the Metro Division is part of this budget, Honorable Commissioner. What I can tell you is this, that all the budget that I report tonight, and every quarter for that matter, comes through the Chief's office. Every year we go through a very rigorous process to compile the budget, to put together the numbers. Those units, NPOs and Metro Division, brings up their requests. And then the ultimate decision is Chief's office, this board, the budget office downtown, the mayor, the city council. So the process is not a simple one that this board approves it and it goes on. But to summarize or to answer your question in short is that they are part of this budget. Every year the chief's office puts his priorities on the table, and then based on the availability of funds, some of them get approved and some of them don't. So that's all I can say on that matter.
Well, my apologies, but I am fighting like hell for our mounted unit, and I'm fighting like hell for our Harbor Master Division as well as our MPO. Not to mention, we have some good officers on this force, but I noticed that since I've been here, you know, over this past decade, we have not, our MPOs has been getting the short end of the stick. Our mounted units been getting the short end of the stick. Our harbor masters been getting the short end of the stick. I want to see more resources or something in this budget where they get a little bit more than they got last year, a little bit more than they got the previous year or the previous year before that. Those guys, those men and women deserve a lot better than what they've been being treated here. And you know, we had a conversation. I love this.
Commissioner, yeah, I don't think that these are questions that Mr. Nazarko can answer right now. I think he's given you the answer that he can give you. Those would be questions for the chief. So may I?
My apologies, Mr.
Yes.
Zarco, but I'm fighting like hell for
But those are good questions, and I think he answered it as best he could. But thank you for those questions. Go ahead, Chief. Oh, I don't know if we can. We need to have it recorded, please.
Through the chair, the concerns, Commissioner Burton, that you have mentioned have been addressed. As recently as Harbor Master, as recently as this past summer, we've had 4 new officers assigned in, which is about 20% of the workforce there. In addition, we've put money to our marine fleet. We have more marine or boats in the water now than we've had in the last 3 years. So as relates to maintenance and staffing, we've addressed that. With mounted, new equipment, new trucks, new horse trailers, and as horses become available, we are able to bring more officers in there, but they are getting the most up-to-date equipment as well. As it relates to the MPOs, that's growing. Recently, we had a centralized MPO unit out of Chief's Neighborhood Liaison that's working through there, phones, computers, and everything that they need. And as precincts identify new MPOs, there are budgeted positions for them as well. So those concerns that you have brought last year, they have certainly been incorporated in this year's budget. And I'd love to take you on a tour of any of the facilities to show you the improvements and how those budget line items individually for those commands, both for Metropolitan Division as well as Chief's Neighborhood Liaison, are working out right now.
Thank you, Chief. But Chief, also, you know, I've been advocating for this for the past few years. This is my last year here, and I want to see that our mounted unit is taken care of. I want to see that get addressed. I like to see our harbor master have the tools and resources they can do the job because we, you know, those guys, they working hard. I want to see our MPOs treated with the respect that they deserve when they out here dealing with quality of life issues in our community. I'd love to see the MPO unit actually grow from you know, like to see them do an additional shift, like you know, I'd love to see 2 shifts, if not 3 shifts, or whatever for my MPOs.
Those are all good points. Thank you, and I think the chief invited you to a tour. I think you've made your point already, Commissioner.
There's one other point I have not
Make
made.
it quick, please.
I'm gonna make my point on behalf of the 100,000 people that live in the 5th District. Mr. Chief, I also advocated over the years to see our police reservists also treated with the same respect and dignity that they deserve. I love to see that unit grow, expand more than what we are now with numbers. They should not have to pay for, you know, for anything out of pocket when it comes to our police reservists. And I love to have a meeting with you, talk with you, what we can do. I'd love to see something added in the budget for our reservists.
Okay, thank you for that point. Thank you, Chief, Assistant Chief. Yes, Commissioner
On that
Bernard.
final point, I was going to ask Mr. Nazarko the same question. Everyone in the city, we work a lot with the reservists. I was at the concerts and stuff this summer. Those are the men and women who are working all of the events in the city of Detroit, from Cobo Hall to everywhere else. And they all have that reserve on their shirt. And I wanted to talk, we can do this offline, but I do believe, as did my colleague said that we need to put some money in and give the reservists something. If it's just a stipend, $1,000 a month, I don't care what it is, but it is very unfair for them to be out there dealing with traffic, dealing with me, trying to help people, help handicapped people. They do everything, and they get no recognition and no money. So I agree with that comment. Thank you, Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
for your
Commissioner
courtesy.
Woods?
Through the chair, I'm just want to applaud you, Madam Chair, for and the department for that matter, to when this budget came before this commission on last time, and our staff was just very, very thorough and going through that budget with a fine-tooth comb. And so the work that you did there, I was deeply impressed with that. And Mr. Nazarko had to go back 1,000 times to be able to make adjustments to that budget. And we made sure that that budget represented the values of the citizens of the city of Detroit. And so when that time comes about, when people have any suggestions as it relates to that budget, that's the fine time to be able to do it. And we appreciate the fact that you guys gave it to us very much early, and we look forward to having it early again. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay,
I wanted to say
continue.
Great report to Mr. Nazar.
Thank you. Continue, Mr. Nazarko.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you for both kind comments. Next three slides, this one and two after this, are basically details, in more detail, revenues and expenditures. And unless the honorable board has a question on those details that I can answer with the information I have, I would like to go to the following slide after that, which is the vehicle purchase report.
I have one quick question before
Yes.
you move on. You mentioned that the final budget will not be completed. This is not the final budget. Is there a timeline when the final budget, like an absolute drop dead date where it has to be done?
The great question, Madam Chair. The absolute drop dead date, because we have to close the books and report to the state and to other entities, is the end of September, that we have to have wrapped up everything. However, 99.9% of the budget wraps up at the end of this month.
Okay.
And case in point in that is, for example, we have some revenue coming from DDOT for the transit police that DPD took over last year. We expect to receive like close to $4 million from them. That is not represented here because we have not received that, and we are in process of doing the paperwork to back and forth. So that's just one example as to why this is not the 100% budget. However, at the end of this month will be very close to 100%, and I don't expect these numbers to change drastically, especially on the expenditure side. We do have almost 100% of the expenditures that occurred last year. However, I'll make a note to send, once I have wrapped up and everything has posted that cannot no longer be any changes, I'll send the board through the Madam Secretary a final budget to actually report that kind of ride this.
That would be great. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you. The vehicle report here shows that for the entire year, or for the quarter, we purchased total 17 vehicles. April, May, and June, as you see, broken down. So 17 vehicles that department purchased during the last quarter. Next slide, please. The next slide shows the
What
capital.
page are you on, if you don't mind me asking?
9.
Thank you.
The next slide, so page 9 and 10, basically represents the expenditures that we did. We call them capital improvements because they are more than $1,000. And sometimes they qualify to be called repair and maintenance, and sometimes if there are items purchased, we classify them as capital expenditures. But we have detailed here by location, the amount, and by month, as you can tell here. Here, for example, a larger one is Oakman Building on Oakman Boulevard. Actually, for the entire quarter, we spent $7,800 on that building. And again, for board's information and for the public, this is detailed by location and by precinct as well. So for the entire fourth quarter of 2025, we spent $88,200 on making various capital improvements throughout the DPD-owned buildings. Next slide, please. And the last slide is shows the grant reports, the grants that we had active during the last quarter, and those are listed as the first one, Project Safe Neighborhood, which dates back to fiscal year 2023, is VOCA grant, Burn State Crisis Intervention Program, the Criminal Justice Innovation Program, ATPA, which is a stable, has been with us for many, many years, MCOLS grant, and then Ceasefire Earmark. So on the last column there, those are the amounts that each individual grant represents, or is, we are awarded that amount. For example, on the ATPA, which stands for Auto Theft Program, we are expecting to receive almost $4 million for the fiscal year, and that grant was active during the quarter. That's the largest grant we have. MCOLS is the next largest one. The other ones are a little bit smaller. So with that, Madam Chair, I'd like to entertain any questions that the Honorable Board may have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Nazarko? Go ahead, Commissioner Bernard.
Just quickly, the horse stable costs us about $3 million a year, $2 million a year?
I'm sorry, which page are you on?
It's on page 9.
Page 9.
It says horse stable, $2 million.
Oh, no.
April.
Through the chair, no, this is 1,000. It's not million.
2,000.
It's
Oh, okay,
only
I got you.
3,500.
I
It
was
costs us a
hallucinating
lot
there.
more than that. However, this is what we spent to make some repairs or improvements in that location.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, thank you so much for
Thank
that
you.
detailed report.
I
We
appreciate
appreciate it. Okay, our second presentation, Chief Investigator Warfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and certainly to this honorable board. Let me say this before I get into our brief presentation. I want to thank you all for just your support and for the public's patience regarding OCI and the backlog and the investigations. Because you all have acted so swiftly as relates to policy adjustment that we needed with our SOP, and as related to staffing, we've been able to, we believe, make some significant gains as relates to investigating cases in a very expeditious way. The presentation that you have in your binders and the one that's shown on the screen represents where we are as of Monday night of this week. And so those numbers have already changed somewhat, but at least it gives us a snapshot of where we are year to date. I just want to talk about on page 2 of your presentation. I want to talk about that our strategic focus is really on the legacy cases. And that has resulted in a 46% reduction.
Excuse me just 1 minute. Legacy means backlog?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You get tired of the B word, so so you wanted to say something just a little bit different. Yeah.
We go crazy when we hear the word backlog.
Exactly.
Right.
And so it resulted in a 46% reduction in the total number of case backlogs since January of this year, and I'll show you those numbers more specifically. But in addition to that, we're closing cases significantly faster. The new complaints are coming in, and we have a clear view of the workload that's ahead of us. However, our primary goal has been to aggressively clear the backlog while at the same time efficiently managing the new cases that are coming in. And again, we'll show you that as well. And the data shows that we are succeeding in those categories. I'll say this as we go to the next slide. 2 years ago when we first came here, one of the stretch goals that we had was for investigators to close 2 cases a week. We're now at the point where investigators are on track to close 1 case a day.
Wow.
So the significance in the work that the investigators and our administrative staff is doing and our supervisors is tremendous. It really is, and it shows here and bears itself out in this slide right here. 1,979 cases were closed as of Monday. That number again has increased because I closed some right before I came here to the meeting today. And however, when you look at the amount of cases that we are getting in, the number of CCRs that are coming in, they're still outpacing last year. We're looking at, and I'll show you the projections at the end of the report, but we're looking at getting just over 2,000 CCRs this year, which has never happened before. for our office. But we're still closing more cases than we're getting in, and that helps us a tremendous amount. Again, as of Monday evening, we closed 341 cases in the month of August alone, and you see the trends where we were at the very beginning of the year versus where we are now. This represents a net reduction of 598 cases from our actual workload, and so we are outpacing intake by more than 43%. On the next slide, it talks about the cases to investigate again as of Monday. As of Monday, we had 2,700 cases in our office. We had intake or brought in this year 1,381. That's what we brought in. So when you look at the cases that came over from last year, which is that 2711, the cases that we brought over from last year plus the 1,381, they gave us 492 cases in our shop this year.
4,000?
4,000, I'm sorry, 4,092 cases in our shop this year. So that's what we've had to work through, all of our investigators. And when you look at the next slide, you'll see how those cases have been investigated and closed. So we've investigated and closed 1,379 cases through this month. And currently, the cases that are current, in other words, less than 90 days, those cases that were 90 days or less, we closed 600 of those cases this year already. So the total reduction, the total number of cases that we've closed is 1,979 cases, which far outpaced what we've done last year. And we'll show you that slide in a second too. So when we look at open cases as of August, again, Monday, this past Monday, our total number of open cases in the office was 2,113 cases. The cases that are within policy 0 to 90 days, that's 505 cases. Our age cases is 1,608 cases, so we're still knocking that number down. Our total caseload, though, is reflecting the progress of our total numbers because, again, before we even got a new case this year, we were at 2,711 cases that was in our office at the beginning of the year. So we're making significant progress. Now, how does that compare versus last year? This is a real quick comparison. I won't spend a lot of time on this slide. But last year, to date, we had closed 530 cases. And again, this year, we've closed 1,979. So you see the significant impact that your policies and that a full staff has on us being able to do the work of the citizens. And then again, one of the things that's significant, if you look at the number of CCRs that we received last year this time, which is 1,307, again, we received more this year than we did last year. And so again, we're pacing ourselves to about 2,000 plus, just a little bit more than 2,000 CCRs a year. This is my projection toward the end of the year, the final slide. This is where I believe we will end up somewhere in this ballpark. I believe we would have ended up closing 3,429 cases, and we would receive about 2,021 new CCR, citizen complaints. And again, you can see the projections from September, October, November, December, where I believe our office will land based on holidays, based on the workload that we're currently undertaking and the consistency that our investigators and our supervisors are putting forth. And that's my report.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Banks and then Commissioner Bernard.
Through the chair, Chief Investigator, how long did it take to close those 1,000 cases?
So the 1,979 cases have all been closed within this year, from January of this year till Monday of this week.
August 20th.
August 25th.
25th.
Yes, sir.
What type of staff we got now? I mean, do we have a full staff? Do we have the at full staff? What do we have? At full staff, is it 23?
So we have 22 total investigators.
Right.
We have 3 supervisors, and we have 2 administrative staff persons slated or scheduling to hire 2 additional ones, administrative staffers.
Okay, now. No, I'm all set. I'm all set. I'm all set.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernard.
Just quickly, these charts don't give us the details on the complaints, obviously. But where is the greatest increase? There is an increase in complaints against the police department. How much of an increase is it? 1, and 2, where have you seen that increase?
Through the chair,
Yes.
the increase as it relates to the complaints are still the same. They're metering out as it relates to our top 3 complaints. So it's still service, it's still demeanor, and it's still procedure. So those are still the 3 top areas. And so those systematically, from a percentage standpoint, are still around the same place they've always have been. They make up 70% of the allegations that come into our office. Those 3: service demeanor and procedure makes up about 70% of the complaints that come in. So they're consistent. So the numbers are consistent within the CCRs that are coming in as it relates to those categories. The reason why I did not represent them here is because through the API, or the application processing unit that our IT department and CMTS, they're still tweaking out some numbers because I want it to be as accurate as possible before I present those numbers publicly to you. But we're able to hand count. We're able to hand count some things that's under our preview, and so we provide those numbers directly to you.
Have you, may I
Yes.
follow up? Have you made any recommendations to the department regarding how the number, these more than thousands of complaints can be, that number can be shrunk based on what the officers are actually doing? Because the complaint is against an officer. So that's the problem. So how do we reduce the complaints? Both of you, I guess, you and Chief Hayes, I don't know.
Well, through the chair.
You want to have a great department, and
Right.
that's the point.
Through the chair, what we do is that we turn over the trends. We turn over the trends. We keep a running count of the trends that we see within the department. For instance, if we see that demeanor is an issue, and if it's an issue in a particular precinct with a particular shift, we turn that information over to disciplinary, and they're able to implement. For a while there, they were doing roll call trainings where they would remind the officers of the policy as relates to either body worn camera, as relates to the uniform being worn properly, as relates to demeanor. And that's something the department has been very good at, making sure that those issues, as relates to the trends that we see, are being addressed at every roll call. And they do that for 7 days straight to make sure that it's just not a casual mention, but it's something that the department knows from the top to the bottom that they're serious about.
So do we have any incentives for the department to reduce the number of complaints? among
Through the
their-
chair, I don't have any incentives.
Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, or have you guys had that discussion? That's the point.
Through the chair, that's not under my ability to be able to offer incentives. I think through this honorable board and through the department, maybe something like that can come about, but I have not had that discussion, no ma'am.
Did the chief want to respond? Sorry, you have to get up.
Through the chair, if you could kind of repeat the question, I want to make sure my response is appropriate.
Commissioner Bernard?
Whether or not you and the chief investigator's office actually are working together to try to address the nature of the complaints that he's receiving concerning officer conduct and officer behavior.
Yeah, through the chair, the incentive is that they can,
Excuse me, just one more time, because he said 70% of them related to service, demeanor, and procedure. And those are all within your bailiwick in terms of training and supervision.
through the chair, the incentive for that is that they continue to enjoy the privilege of wearing a Detroit Police Department badge. Because if they don't, there's no place for them in this organization. Those are the core values. that we owe this community, that this community deserves. And those that we find that are grossly or intentionally deviating from that some way, form, or fashion, whether they come before Chief Bettis and myself or this honorable board, again, the privilege to wear this badge will be taken away from them. That is the incentive.
Wow. That's good.
I agree with that, but that doesn't change the numbers. The numbers say that there's a problem in those three areas, and I think that maybe there can be an adjustment in training or something that you guys can do to lower these numbers, because they're adversely affecting the community. And see, the good part about these numbers is like you and I mean, there may be 5 things that a person does wrong, but we never get time to go back and complain about it. These are the people that took the time to address a problem, and, and so I just think that we can up our standards, or give officers additional incentives to do it by the book. And there are a number. We have people every week telling us just about the number of black young men that are just stopped. I mean, the Bar Association, a week ago I was at their dinner, and 2 different lawyers came up to me talking about what was happening to young black men in the city of Detroit. This is the Wolverine Bar Association. I'm just saying that this is an issue, service, demeanor, procedure. So we know that because he has the data. And the leaders of the Bar Association want to meet with the department to discuss this with you about the conduct of officers.
Okay,
So-
Chief Investigator wants to make a comment. Go ahead, Chief.
Through the chair and certainly to the board, I want to be crystal clear. The numbers that I quoted were the amount of citizen complaints that came in. However, when you look at the amount of complaints that are actually sustained, so just because we get over 2,000 citizen complaints, that doesn't mean that all of those complaints are sustained. We get only about 8 to 10% of those complaints are sustained. So when you look at the aggregate number, it's about a couple of hundred sustained CCRs that we get out of that in complete 2,000. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, still the numbers still represent. So out of that 200, 70% of that 200 is still procedure, demeanor, and service as relates to the most popular. But I don't want to misrepresent our findings to say that 2,000 cases are being sustained against officers, because that's not the case at all.
Okay, Commissioner Woods and then Commissioner Banks.
Yes, I was going to ask him to clarify what is the percentage as it relates to sustained cases. And we definitely not in the business of bribing a cop to do the right thing. Police is, as I share the same sentiment with the assistant chief, they are paid good salaries. The city council, the mayor's office, everyone fought for them to get raises and they took an oath to do the right thing. And so I don't want it to be put out there that we need to bribe cops to follow the law and follow policy and procedure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If
Commissioner Banks.
Yes, through the chair, I like the way, Chief, Assistant Chief, I like the way you enforce the standards. You laid those standards down for the officers to provide by. I love the way you laid those standards down. And you seem like you meant business too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And
Any-
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chief,
And-
Assistant Chief.
yeah, thank you. And to that point, and was the latter part that Chief Investigator Warfield highlighted. While I certainly absolutely stand by the core values and the demand for members of this agency, if they want to be a part of it, that they shall constitutionally police this agency, there are the checks and balances. And certainly as complaints come in, no one is happy to go to jail. No one is happy to get pulled over and get a ticket. And it is certainly within the right of the city charter for individuals dissatisfied with police service to make those reports. And in those very fields that you indicated, demeanor, service, and please forgive me, I forget what the third was. But once we get to that point to where we look into it and take the deep dive, and OCI does exactly what it's supposed to do, what you will find is that the lion's share, the majority of the men and women of this police department who stand up, get up every day, put that bulletproof vest on, put that badge on their chest, serve this community with honor and dignity, and quite frankly get upset when those who don't have that same honor, dignity, and pride do something that causes embarrassment to this agency. They get upset just like I do. So again, to the men and women of the department, they do a great job, but understand that usually when we're called, we make decisions that not everybody is happy with. And when they're not, their opportunity to voice that is through the citizen complaint process. And we will continue to work with this board and, again, but at the same time, continue to serve this city with, again, with honor, with integrity, and fight crime like we talked about earlier.
Thank you, Assistant Chief. Our next, does that conclude your report? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I have a couple questions for Chief Warfield. Chief Warfield, do your department, do you get a chance to work with risk management, or do y'all interact at any?
What I do, and through the chair, and thank you for that question, Commissioner Bernard, one of the things that we do. Burton, I'm sorry. So sorry. I was looking at Commissioner Bernard.
We're drinking the same water, I think.
I am so sorry, Commissioner Burton. One of the things that we do, and risk management and certainly the Chief's office has been extremely responsive. When we see something that is egregious, we email risk management and the Chief's office immediately, even before our investigation has concluded, to let them know this is a situation that you might want to look at immediately, or an officer that we have seen significant activity from that you might want to look at immediately. And they have responded in kind. So we've also had risk management come over to our office to reinforce, for instance, the body-worn camera policy, so that all of our investigators and supervisors have been given a very detailed perspective of when officers are supposed to wear those body-worn cameras, how they're supposed to be worn in the center chest area, when they're supposed to be turned on, when they're supposed to be turned off, and so that everybody's on the same page. So we have worked with risk management, and we'll do more of that moving forward.
And my additional question is, when it comes to the cases that's coming in this year, do it look like we are trending upward or downward from last year citizens' complaints?
And again, through the chair, we're definitely trending upward. Last year, we ended up with 1,900, I want to say 46 complaints. I could be wrong on that number, but it was in that ballpark. And this year, we definitely see we are ahead of that number. We're trending, I should say, ahead of that number, and we're going to be somewhere around 2,021 complaints at the end of the year.
And I guess I would like to talk with you later, and also talk to AC Hayes later and see what we can do to work closely with you, but also with the department and also with our community. So thank you for your report, and also thank you, Chief Hayes, for being transparent.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Woods.
And there's been egregious situations that you had to pick up the phone and say this need to be responded to immediately, and there's been some swift action there, right?
Through the chair, correct, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know I read these cases. You give me binders and binders every week. I read the cases, and I've come to you a number of times, right? There's been some situations where citizens I felt was violated in such a way that we needed to do something over and beyond to be able to get that citizen some swift action, right? And I give you an example. One citizen they raided the wrong house, kicked the door in, and left the door there, right? And we picked up that telephone, and we got some action, right?
Through the chair, yes.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is that this is our fiduciary responsibility of getting these binders every single week, going through these cases thoroughly, and responding to them. Yeah, it's a sacred job in terms of signing off on these cases. And so that is our obligation as commissioners, and I appreciate your vigilance in terms of getting these cases where they need to be at in a constitutional and ethical way, making sure that every case is being reviewed. And I appreciate all commissioners who review these cases to be able to give the citizens the responses that they can. And I encourage all commissioners to take a folder every week and read these cases.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, well, thank you, CI. We'll move on to the report from the Board Secretary, Ms. Garnier.
Madam Chair, through the chair, under tab 6 today, you'll find the following. Incoming communications, the reports that are listed, together with the DPD applicant appeal request that are included there. Also, the memorandum from the policy committee meeting on Tuesday, held on this past Tuesday. The upcoming meetings are as follows. On Thursday, September 4th, 3 p.m. here at headquarters is our next board meeting. The September community meeting is Thursday, September 11th, 6:30 p.m. will be held in the 4th precinct at Marathon Oil Michigan headquarters, 1001 South Oakwood Avenue in Detroit. That's in the 4th precinct. Upcoming committee meetings are policy committee meetings. Tuesday, September 2nd, Tuesday, September 16th, and Tuesday, September 30th. All policy committee meetings held in the Woodward Room here at Safety Headquarters. And that is the report for today, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Is there any unfinished business?
I just have a question.
Commissioner Woods?
Yeah, Madam Secretary, is the place Marathon Oil, is that owned by Marathon Oil?
To my knowledge, yes, sir.
Why would we have a meeting in a corporate location like that?
If we can discuss that in depth offline, I think we've, during your chairmanship, understandably finding a place in the different precincts at no cost is an issue. It is my understanding that during the pandemic, many facilities closed. So as far as how we can broadcast, the technology, there are a number of variables considered in how the locations are selected. Clearly, if this board decides differently, we will hastily do our best to find another facility. Normally, these are done months ahead of time. We pretty much have a scheduled outline for now through the end of the year. And as my understanding, it's been held at that facility before.
I've never been. I think the assistant chief wanted.
As I just received from staff, normally the 2 staff persons that go out and do a site visit together with media services and audio visual to make sure that the technology is appropriate and can broadcast the meetings, that Marathon Oil is a recurring host.
Assistant Chief wants to say something.
Yes,
Go ahead.
and through the chair, Marathon is when we talk about public-private partnerships with the City of Detroit and the Police Department, they've been an outstanding partner, purchasing scout cars for the 4th precinct, as well as paying for additional patrols, not only in the area of the scout car area that they have been there, supporting fallen officers and heroism by the men and women of the Detroit Police Department with events like Above and Beyond and others. So a corporate location, Vice Chairman, I'd just like to let you know, certainly the work that this board or this body charges the men and women of the police department to do, they are certainly supporters.
I don't
Go
care.
ahead.
Through the chair, I don't care about the support that they give the department or anything of that nature. I just don't want to be in the business as a board to being in a corporation. So that's my thoughts in regards about it. I think that we could go into a community-based church or a community center. We have a community center over there. I don't think that we should be in the business of going into any type of corporate entity as a board.
Go ahead, Commissioner Bell.
I want to echo support for the Assistant Chief remarks about this is a tax-paying business. They've been a foundation in that community extensively, and they've been supportive of DPD in the community. So I don't know what your bias is, but basically we have met over the years, and we meet with different corporations sometimes, because during COVID, as they stated, it was a critical time period of us to try to meet anywhere. So I don't see that issue coming up in this forum by a commissioner. I think we should collectively continue in this capacity of meeting there in any other business components.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
That's ludicrous. That is absolutely ludicrous. We ain't in no other business location or corporation. I absolutely don't think that we should be in any corporation. I don't care who they are. It could be my corporation. So it's not a bias. I just think that we are an independent body and that we should not be operating any type of corporation in which they getting free advertisement every time she say marathon oil. Whatever they do, I appreciate whatever they've done for fallen officers and things of that nature, but I don't think that we should be in the business of promoting that.
I don't view it.
Go ahead, Commissioner
If I
Bernard.
may, I don't view it as a promotion, my colleague. I view it as a public-private partnership, and that is what this community is based on in every sense of the word. I think it's very nice of them to allow us to use the facility in order to welcome the community, and there's no downside to that for either of us, as I see it. We don't always have to be in a community, and that is a great, and they use it for community stuff all the time in Southwest Detroit. Marathon is the partner of Southwest Detroit, not just the police department, but the entire community on every single issue. They pay for it and do stuff all the time, and I have as long as I've been here.
Any other comments or questions? I know that we've had meetings there for years. When I was on before, we had meetings there. I think that if we're going to change this, then we need to have the board vote on it.
Sure.
So if you want to make a motion,
I'm not ready to make a motion.
okay, then if we can't do it at this meeting, I don't see how we can change the location. It's in a week.
We can't change it.
No,
now,
it could be up for a discussion and a vote in the future. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Assistant Chief.
Thank you. Madam Chair, if I
Yes,
may,
go ahead.
just one last thing. In the Chief's report, I shared with you the incident that happened yesterday at the 19,000 block of Shaner, where the juvenile was shot. Roughly 15 minutes ago, under the leadership of Commander John Sveck and the men and women of the 9th Precinct, that individual that I shared with you, we were actively apprehending, has now been placed into custody.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that update. Any other new business at this point? New business? Here? Go ahead,
I just have
Commissioner.
a really quick remark about the policy committee. We didn't have a quorum this past week, so we didn't have a meeting, and we're going to be meeting next week. I don't have my glasses. What time? Madam Chair, what date is that? Madam.
September 2nd, at 5
Thank you.
p.m.
Right after the holiday. Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Is there any other comment or question? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
It's been moved by
Second.
Commissioner Woods and
I'm
seconded
sorry. Yep.
by Bernard. Commissioner Bernard. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Thank you all for being here this evening.